millions of clicks here, millions of clicks there. He's one of the biggest entrepreneurs on YouTube, accompanying his followers on his journey. However, he didn't come from wealth, rather the opposite. If you're someone who wants to make his own money, be his own boss, have $1 million business, or want to make a few $1,000s a month, this video is made for you, because this journey will show you how someone went from nothing to a multimillionaire in just a few years, and how you can do it too. Iman Gadzhi grew up with a single mother, and it was a hard time for him and especially for his mother, who had to work for 2 jobs to feed little Iman. Iman is a college dropout, and rightfully so. We'll get to that in a minute. Iman Gadzhi couldn't stand to see his mother working so hard for both of them and was desperate to support them financially. But how could he do that at such a young age? He was a loner at school, and instead of talking during breaks, he read books. He read books he couldn't even afford. He went to the library all day every Sunday and read books on how to make money, how other successful people start their businesses, and how much the mindset matters. He's a disciplined boy and had such a strong urge to support his mother, which gave him even more motivation. So he worked every day on ideas to make money. His much reading, through which he also learned to meditate, created a winning mindset. His breakthrough though came with his agency, which he started in 2016. His first client was someone who realized what a strong-willed boy Iman Gadzhi was and went for the deal, which gave Iman his first taste of making money. He was running an Instagram account for a company, making a post, and was literally branding companies. He had experience with Instagram because he used to flip it. He started writing down goals at an early age. His goal for the year 2016 was to read 1 book a week. That's 52 books a year. The way he describes reading, it's mining for gold. And the second one, make 15,000 in a year, no matter how or where. He charged $110 a week from his first agency client. That's $440 a month. He had to shoot, edit and post 30 unique Instagram posts, 30 unique Facebook posts and 4 YouTube videos a month. And all he did that for minimum wages. But it didn't even matter to him because he knew he stepped into the man that he knew he could be. 2017, the most life-changing year of his life. It sounds maybe a little bit braggy, but his mindset was already on a different level.
You end up feeling quite lonely from that, and it's something I had to deal with for quite a while. But look, that's fine. Honestly, I would rather be alone with my own thoughts than with people who are negative, berate what I'm trying to do in my life, because at the end of the day, those people are just scared that you're going to rise up and find no use from them anymore. Don't get angry at people when they throw negativity, throw hate your way, because at the end of the day, they're just scared that you're going to develop so much that you find no use for them anymore. I've seen that time and time again in my life.
In this year, he found a little his rhythm. He usually wakes up at 8 AM, get all the things done, was already in the gym, had meditated, and sits exactly on his desk at 10:30 AM, ready to work. He was always a loner and had no time except for his development, reading and the hustle of his agency. Exactly 1 year before, in 2016, he promised his mother he would travel to Paris with her. When he said that, it was more of a dream, but at that point he was able to make it happen. Back to the business part. All the meetings were cancelled in the first week, but he had one this week and was grateful for it, and that was his reaction to it.
So, business is booming.
And here you can see that he definitely sees the glass half full and make the best out of the situation. He made 25k a month with his agency, even though he did everything wrong and was basically trying things out. From everything doing myself, to no niche, to no auto billing clients, to not having client cards on file. But the exciting thing is he was happy and somehow it all worked out. He was able to buy his first own house, which was always a dream of his, to be able to call something home. But until he got there, it was a long way.
I felt so helpless. You know, if I don't take care of my family, even though it's just me and my mom, no one is. You know, and to this day, that's the case. And entrepreneurship was my way out. You know, entrepreneurship was my way out. Business was my way out. You know, and I remember even things like meditating. I started meditating 3 years ago. I started reading a book a week, which I actually recently stopped. But I read a book a week, almost like 90% track record for whatever, like 3 years or so.
At the age of 18, he bought his first watch, a Rolex 41mm Datejust for 50k. We are in 2018 and he already founded a small team so he can outsource his work and focus on the most important. Over the years, he made over 50k a month with his agency.
Actually extending my trip, I have a 2-day training
with a company out here called Motivate Design. So if you guys don't already know, for a 2-day training, I charge $20,000. Well, I charge 15,000 pounds, which is equivalent to like $19,500, something like that.
He finally found his niche and hired his first full-time employee, and he realized what he was worth and what that meant for his monthly income. When you know you can charge so and so much, it can make a big difference on an income. In 2019, he focused mainly on his agency, training up his employee and really focusing on scaling that.
All I can really say is get client focused, get operation focused, and get sales focused. You know, really that's the thing that's going to separate you from the rest of your competition.
He was signing 5-figure month retainers. He felt like he was on the top of the world. He was signing massive deals. He was starting to spend a decent more amount of money, buy all the luxury watches he always dreamed of buying. He always makes goals for the next year, and his focus in 2020 was client retention was not where he wanted it to be.
Basically, what I realized was there's a direct conflict between how much you charge and how long you can keep the client. I realized there's actually a sweet spot where you can charge the client less, which doesn't sound like it's a good thing, but you actually keep them for substantially longer. And I basically realized like, hey, in 2020, I should focus instead on what is the lifetime value of this client to me, you know, rather than just what's the monthly value, because it's much better to have a client that pays $2,500 a month and you keep them for 10 months rather than a client that pays $5,000 a month and you only keep them for 3 months.
It went on to satisfy the customers, to keep the relationship and find more clients, and mainly to grow his agency and attract more customers. As an example, how he closed the customer, it may look like this.
Great. All right, amazing. Is there anything else that you need from us?
No, I think everything's clear. So.
Awesome. Yeah, all I can say is it's an honor to have you a part of the agency, and I really look forward to what we're going to be able to do together.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
See you Monday.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
And the exciting thing to see is that his self-esteem and the self-esteem of his company has improved so much. Where I said he knows it now. Can also be situations when the customer is not sure whether he wants to enter into this deal. Iman also wonders whether he wants to have a relationship with these customers at all.
I'm at a point in my agency where unless it's 100% match, I don't take clients on. And this is almost leaving a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, where I'm even starting to reassess, is this client worth taking on? Are they going to be those sorts of clients where they ask too many questions and don't just let us do our thing and get the results?
He was so involved with his agency, it almost looks too easy for Iman. But that's the proof: when you are consistent and focused on something, you get better and successful.
3 new clients in 24 hours. Let's get it. But yeah, I'm very, very happy. 3 closes in 24 hours. I got another sales call in an hour. That one won't be. Do you want to see them actually? Boom. 3 out of 3, baby.
The year 2020 was even so big, I can't in my perspective even describe it. Listen to yourself.
14 minutes from now, I have a sales call that is only doing 10 to 25K a month, which for our agency is, that doesn't really qualify. It's an info product business. For us, we're looking at clients that do at least 25K a month to be qualified. But for me, the way that I look at it is, look, 45 minutes, if they don't become a client, whatever, like it doesn't matter.
And the goal Iman set in 2020 paid off enormous.
I really started to realize at that point that my retention at the agency, you know, how long we were keeping clients, wasn't necessarily where I wanted it.
He made a lot more money overall with the agency when he charged clients less, but kept them much longer. And the big change, which was really a game changer,
we started charging performance deals. So we would have much lower base retainers, but because of our performance that we were delivering for our clients, you know, we were still billing way more than 5 figures a month with a lot of our clients simply because of our performance fees.
At the end of 2020, he had 1.5 million in his agency bank account and started to invest most of it in crypto, about 7 to 80%, and the rest in watches. Why? Because these two assets also interested him, and I think many of you know how much you could make by investing in the crypto market at the end of 2020. So it turned out to be a very good decision. As of May 2021, he had a 7 million crypto portfolio.
You are about to find out what a $7 million cryptocurrency portfolio looks like.
But now we heard only nice information, the whole process and how well it went. This is also because that you post in social media only what you have also achieved and not his death. But with Iman it came to suicide thoughts. Out of nowhere, depression and thoughts which no one wants to have.
Hung out with some friends, went for dinner, had some bottles of wine. You know, there was probably 10 of us. A couple of my guy friends and I had some cigars, went to a party, this, that. I ended up getting home pretty late, probably like 5:30. I remember I woke up at like 9:30, got in my shower, turned on the shower, laid crisscross applesauce on the floor, and just started weeping. And it was a very, you know, at that time I was very confused because I didn't know why, but I was just really, really sad. And what that started was a 6-week bout of just really, really intense anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Like, I remember I would wake up and my heart would just be pounding. And obviously the first thing that I would do when that would happen is I would go and, I was in Manchester and, drove up and brought my Juve, which is like a red light therapy thing. I would sit in front of my Juve and just meditate for 15 minutes because I thought that if my heart rate is up and I'm feeling anxious, just I can meditate this away. It's no issues. I've been meditating for 7 years. I can meditate this away. Wouldn't go away. And it got to a point where after that crisscross applesauce event, kind of just things deteriorated for 2 to 3 weeks to the point where, I was in the midst of a full-blown mental breakdown. And I remember from the moment in which I woke up, it was crazy, the craziest experience I've ever had. From the moment I woke up to probably 4 or 5 p.m., the only way I can describe it is almost like being possessed by some demon. Or that something else was like, some other life force was inside of me, or almost like, I guess what it feels like to be bipolar, where it's like, it's two different people. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., the only thing was on my mind for a solid like 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, was how I was going to kill myself. And by the time that 4 or 5 p.m. rolled around, I was totally fine. I was happy. I was smiling. But on another note, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., I probably would cry 4 or 5 times. And, I'm smiling now because it's just like, it's so wild to think about it. But it was such a painful period of my life.
But fortunately the period passed and was not too long. But he also realized that depression and anxiety is an important issue. He could not explain how it happened. Despite his story, the year 2020 and 2021 was the best year for his business.
I have never made more money than in 2020 and 2021. Like I'm making obnoxious amounts of money. It has been so freaking good for my business.
He moved into a 4-bedroom apartment in Dubai for tax reasons. He can say in retrospect that having an agency is a wonderful cash flow, but you should always invest a part of it. For him, for example, it's now 100k a month. However, he wishes he had started investing earlier. And the most exciting thing about the whole video is that he recorded his whole journey and published it on his YouTube channel to tell his story from broke to millionaire. He can be proud to look back, and it's also a huge inspiration for people who might even be in a similar position as Iman was 6 years ago. This video is super evergreen because Iman will conquer YouTube, and if you haven't already, subscribe.